It's a funny one. So, for us at Smart and Planning, the shift to remote really wasn't difficult at all because I think we've always had a good deal of remote to our business. For clients, I think, retailers that I work with and talk to, I think that they've adapted remarkably well. I think everybody, if they just pause and look back, this is a blog topic I've been working on for a little bit, would be stunned at what they've achieved. You talked about it before. I was chatting with a client earlier this week. They are 3 years ahead of where they intended to be on their e-commerce path. Like it's just accelerated at such a rate. And I laugh because, I do talk so much about strategy and being responsible with strategy and so on. And I think if anybody had walked into the boardroom with a plan that articulated some of what's actually been achieved in these last few months and walked in and put that on the table and said, this is what I want to do. And if we pull out all the stops, I'm sure we can achieve it. They would have been laughed out the room. And yet here we are, and businesses have done remarkable things. So I think that they've handled it super well. The shift to remote, I think there's probably a lot of very exhausted IT people out there that have had to deploy all kinds of applications to people working remotely and think about the security that goes with all of that. I think teams have adapted extremely well with homeschooling and all the personal things that have come with this change, which they've not been easy. There's been a lot of fear and a lot of disruption, and people have had to deal with many things that they wouldn't normally have coming at them all at once under normal circumstances. It's been a big shift. What I think's been really nice actually is how tolerant, I guess, people have been, how understanding, when someone has had, a noise happen off to the side, when they're working remotely, dialed into a call, and, stuff just does happen. And I think, everyone's tried to be professional, but I think they've also tried to be understanding, which I think has been a really nice human element to the whole thing. So that's been good too. Yeah. Well, I think the productivity, from what I've experienced, I actually think productivity's gone up. I always would joke, especially back when I was at Cotton On, their building is enormous, and I'd have meetings booked back to back, but one would be at this end of the building in my office, and the next one would be, 2 sort of football lengths away in another office, and yet they're booked back to back. And I would always joke about needing the travel time, and and then you get asked a few questions while you're walking down the corridor, and you arrive to your next one a few minutes late. And I think we all experience that, and weirdly, we're experiencing that travel time lag even in virtual meetings. I think people are super productive. They're getting so much done in a day, but there is this little lag between each meeting where you actually need to dial out of the team meeting and into the Zoom meeting, out of the Zoom meeting into the Skype meeting. There are those little, they're not travel delays, they're technology delays. Those are still there, but in the main, I think people are being very, very productive. What's the word? Whether it's techniques or, ways of working that are coming in with that, where I think, people are starting to already realize booking the little 15-minute gap before the next meeting starts is a really good way to go. It gives you a chance to collect your thoughts, gives you a chance to, grab a cup of tea, stretch your legs, and they are paying attention to the fact that that's probably necessary. But, we're on a learning curve with all of those things. So, but I think there's been a lot of progress.